Okay, hey, good day or good morning, good evening. This is Ty Paul. You're back on the Victory Team channel. We're beginning a short series starting now on giving. People want to give, but we can get hurt in our giving. And let's look at we'll have a little Bible study on giving, the guidelines for giving. Uzzah, in the Bible, a fellow named Uzzah, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, he was in charge of the oxen. And the oxen were bringing in the Ark of the Covenant. They put it on a nice new cart. They copied the Philistines' pattern. And when they had the Ark on the cart and it was coming back home, well, the oxen stumbled, maybe hit a pothole, whatever, and the cart started to rock. And the fellow Uzzah, who was right next to it, he reached up and he steadied the ark. He had a good motive. He didn't want the ark to come crashing down. But he didn't do things, and David the king didn't do things the right way. And it cost Uzzah his life. Sometimes when we have the right motives, but we use the wrong methods, it's more harmful than good. And we get discouraged and such. I don't want you to get discouraged. God has a lot to say about giving. So let's get into it. It's going to be a two-part series, if you will. Today is our motives. Why do people give? What are they doing? And the next is the methods. I mean, let's talk about your motives. Why would you give away? You make hard-earned money. It's tough, and everybody wants more. Why would you give money away? Well, we'll see. One reason that you give money away is you feel compassion for your fellow man. You have compassion because of their spiritual needs. Jesus felt this way. In Matthew chapter 9, verse 36, he said this, or it's recorded this way, "But when he saw the multitudes," he being Jesus, "he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Thus we give to witness to the lost." We're concerned for those that are outside the knowledge and the acceptance of Christ. And we support missionaries, and we do different things for giving. We have compassion on people's spiritual needs. You also have compassion on their physical condition. Jesus said this in Matthew chapter 15, verse 32, "I have compassion on the multitude, because they continue with me now 3 days, and have nothing to eat." Matthew chapter 15, verse 32. He was really concerned. He had compassion on them because they had followed him around. He's been teaching them for 3 days. And they haven't eaten. They haven't taken a break. Well, how unlike today's seminars where it's food centered around, here's a little teaching, then centered around food. They were so engulfed in his teaching. Jesus recognized that, you've been fasting for 3 days. I'm a little concerned I have compassion for you. He had pity, if you will. Sometimes we give in a calculated command. We just assume if we give so much, it's almost like a business deal that God's obligated to give us so much more back. It's like a way of investing, and that's not necessarily wrong, but just be careful. It's one motive that people have. If I give so much, then God will give so much back to me. In Luke chapter 6, verse 38, again, the words of Jesus, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. For with the same measure ye mete, withal it shall be measured to you again. In other words, when I give so much, I give $1.280, I definitely get $1.280 back. And I'll get more, because God said so. And that's one motive people have in giving. There's another motive, and it's a little bit darker, but perhaps true. You feel giving is required to prevent a curse. A curse prevention or protection giving. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 and 9. Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me. That's pretty clear. Give, or perhaps God will curse you for not giving the requirement. Wow. That's a motive. Sometimes we give because we feel like it insulates us from covetousness. It's covetousness protection giving. In Luke chapter 18, there was a rich young man, a Pharisee, that came running to Jesus, and he said, I've done this, what do I do to inherit eternal life? I've done all these things. And Jesus looked at him, and he loved that man. But he recognized that there was something between him and God, and that was his covetousness. And he told this young man this, yet lackest thou one thing. This is in Luke chapter 18, verse 22. Yet lackest thou one thing. Sell all that thou hast, and distribute to the poor. And when he heard this, he was very sorrowful, for he was very rich. The rich young ruler held his possessions higher than he did God. And Jesus recognized that. Sometimes we give to prevent that type of covetousness. Sometimes we give because we feel in giving we fulfill our part of the Great Commission. The Great Commission is to go out through all the world and preach the gospel, testify of who Christ is and what he is and what he's going to do, and so on and so forth. Baptizing them, teaching them, making disciples, so on. It's the commission giving. In Acts chapter 1, verse 8, again, Jesus says, and ye, speaking to his disciples, and ye shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem and in Judea, Samaria, the uttermost parts of the world. He says, you'll be witnesses unto me. And when we give, we help to further the witness. That's one motive for giving. It's part of something bigger than yourself. When I give, right now, I'm just in a little community or a little city or I'm a nothing burger. And yet, with my giving, I can spread the gospel, I can help and all. That's definitely good. I can't go, but I can empower someone else to go. And a lot of people do this. I don't know, I wouldn't recommend this as your primary motive. But a lot of people give as an acceptable charitable expense to reduce the amount of taxes that you pay by lowering your income. Charity or community giving is a long-standing IRS expense deduction. Give by cash or check. If you made any gift of $250 more, see the instructions. That's right out of the IRS form. Giving for the reduction of taxes. It is a motive. I didn't say it was a good motive, but it's a motive. You give to get confirmation of God's promises. God said this, prove me now. Prove me. Put me to the test. In Malachi chapter 3, verse 10, back in Malachi, he said this, God said this, prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven. Test me, try me, see if you can outgive me. That's an interesting motive. You see the reality of God working. When I was younger, I didn't have any health problems. And I saw God, the reality of God working in my life time and time again by my giving and God giving back to me. By God's proving himself that we cannot outgive God. Now it's more health and other things, but it's still true. It's very interesting. God gives an invitation to test him, to prove him. Sometimes we give as a source of contentment in our giving. It's more blessed. Again, Paul's reciting back to what Jesus said, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Acts chapter 20, verse 35. It's more blessed to give. I feel happier. It's better for me to give than to receive. It's better for my spirit. I enjoy that. You understand that. It's simply a nice thing to do. It's part of worshiping our God. We're able to give back to God's people and to God's house and support God's work. And God allows us to do that. There's a certain contentment there. Well, there's probably more motives, but did I get your motive? Was it some of the above, none of the above, or all of the above? If you have a different motive, would you send us in the comment line? I would love to hear it. And that doesn't mean they're bad. I think most of the motives I would think would be decent or good, or we can all justify everything we do. But each of us follows our own heart. God bless you. Oh, speaking of motives, we have a sponsor for each episode, and this is our sponsor.
Welcome to Sterling Valley Church. I'm Seth Hicks, one of the elders here, and I welcome you to join us here in the Valley. We're located at 15099 Sterling Valley Road in Sterling, New York. You can look us up online and come join us on Sunday mornings at 9:30 to worship God together here in the Valley. Or you can find us online at Facebook and watch our services there.
All right, God bless you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.